video is from my friend Bella. She asked me how to make vegan gravy, but the best part about this one is that it's also gluten-free. I make this gravy, I kid you not, at least once a week, and we go through it very quickly. So today I'm going to make a double batch. You have a base guideline for the gravy, but then you have all these extra add-ins that you can include in the recipe to make it even better. I've been adding curry spice and garam masala in the last two batches with coconut cream, so the thicker part of the coconut milk when you buy a can, and it makes a really delicious curry style gravy. But if you just do the base, it is excellent as is. It is so good that you might even eat or want to eat it like a soup. So let's begin, because it's actually really simple. From start to finish, you can easily make this recipe in about 30 minutes, maybe even less. In a recipe like this one, if you were to use more or a little less of an ingredient, it's not the end of the world. The base for this recipe are onions and mushrooms. You don't have to cut everything perfectly, and I'm going to be super chopping this roughly because in the end we're going to be pureeing the gravy anyway, so it really doesn't matter. In my pot I already have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You could use coconut oil, you could use avocado oil. Once you have that, you add your onions, and you could start cooking it with just the onions, and I will do that in a second, but for now I'm just going to go ahead and roughly chop my mushrooms. An extra add-in is garlic. I do also include garlic powder, but if you wanted to add 1 or 2 cloves of fresh garlic, it really does create amazing flavors. We're going to be adding some vegetable broth. In this one today, I'm going to include a little bit of grated carrot, just because I did that the other day and it was really good. I just want to add a little bit. If you're not sure what fresh turmeric is, it's a root, just like ginger, but it's much more orange and bright, and it has really good flavor. This is just an extra add-in. You do not have to put it in, but if you do, it's really good, and it's good for your health. My husband will only eat this gravy if I do not put ginger, but you know what? He's not here and I'll be eating it, so I'm putting in ginger. I love fresh organic ginger. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my stovetop. I'm gonna move the camera so you can get a better close-up. Usually I would have my pot there and just keep adding things as my heat is going, but this is how beautiful it looks so far. If you haven't used fresh thyme in a recipe, this is a perfect one to use it for. And you can go generous, but you don't want to use the hard stems. You just want to take the stems off. But using fresh thyme is really good in a gravy. So yummy. So I've just turned on my heat to medium, but it won't take long that it will get pretty hot. So if that's the case, you can reduce it to medium-low. And the idea here is that you just want to cook down the vegetables a little bit. I know there's a lot of variations of gravies out there, but this is my favorite because I'm using ingredients that I like. So again, if you're a huge red pepper fan, go ahead and put some fresh red peppers in here. There's no rule, it's just this is a guideline. I keep stirring it because I don't want things to stick. So like I said, 5 to 8 minutes is usually enough to just cook everything down a little bit. So this is what it looks like right now. At this point, we can go ahead and add 2 cups of vegetable broth. I'm adding 2 cups because I'm making a double batch. If I was only making 1 batch, I would be putting 1 cup. So that's 2 cups. Once you've added the veggie broth, you can just go ahead and stir it a little bit. And today I'm using the passata, which is just tomato puree. Like if you can find organic puree or organic paste or ketchup or barbecue sauce, all of those options are really good. The recipe does call for maple syrup and tamari. Tamari is the gluten-free version of soy sauce. Those also include amazing flavors for this gravy. Basically with the gravy, you're just looking to add and throw in some things that are gonna like enhance all the flavors and make it taste amazing. I'm including pepper, garlic powder, pepper flakes, garam masala, curry powder, and some sea salt. And you don't have to do it just now, but you totally can. And again, this ingredient is optional, but this is the coconut cream from a can of organic coconut milk. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the gravy because it makes it really nice, thick, and creamy. If you were not putting coconut cream, an ingredient to help you thicken the sauce would be oat flour, arrowroot starch, tapioca starch, or flour. At this point, I am just gonna keep it on a low heat. I'm gonna let it simmer for 12 to 15 minutes. 10 minutes would be enough. When you're making a sauce, you can taste it as it's cooking. You can taste it before you blend it. After you blend it, taste it again, and you can increase the seasoning at that point too. So if it's not salty enough, add a bit more salt, or if you like more pepper, just same thing, add more pepper. So I've just turned off my heat because everything is looking really good and perfect to blend. If you are not sure about directly pouring it in, you can use a scoop to transfer it. But I'm often in a hurry, so I just pour it in. I'm just gonna make sure you can see. If I turn my camera here, you'll be able to see the blender process. So you have to make sure you put a cover, because again, if not, it will explode. And you just want to blend it until everything is nice and smooth. Alright, that should be perfect. Just as a reminder, I did not include starches to help thicken my gravy today, but if you are a person that tends to prefer their sauces a little bit on the thicker side, you can definitely include a couple of tablespoons of starch before blending your sauce. But what I would recommend is blend it first, look at the thickness and the consistency of the sauce, and if you find it too thin, then add it and blend it again. That's really good. So I'm tasting it now just to make sure it's salty enough and peppery enough for our liking, but it's really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer it back to the pot. If you know you're serving this for a meal, but you're not quite ready to serve your dinner, you can just return it to the pot and leave it there. And then once you are ready to serve your meal, then you can just turn your heat on low, warm it up a little bit, and then serve it. If you know that you're not gonna be eating it right away, then what I would suggest is just grab a jar and pour it in here. So a double batch will make a nice full jar of yumminess. It's that good. So that is it, my friend. That is how easy it is to make a quick, delicious, good for you, gluten-free and vegan gravy. So this is for you, Bella. And now you have no choice but to make this gravy. So I really hope that you do. So good, I could drink it. But I'm not gonna do it, but I would do it. Mm-hmm. So good. Got it.